So before we get into this, I'd just like to say I'm just relaying my experience. My hope is that other people out there who are trying to work with OpenClaw can avoid some of the pitfalls I made. So if you are computer savvy, a computer science geek, you're a programmer or a developer, this is probably not the site for you. I am at best a recreational tinkerer in the AI space. Also a little bit about my setup. Again, I don't know everything about OpenClaw or all the different ways you can set it up. The way I set up mine was on a standalone mini desktop PC. I bought it refurbished from Temu. It is running Windows 11 with a Core i5 processor, 16 GB RAM, and a 256 GB solid-state drive. A lot of people out there are recommending you need to set up a virtual computer or you need to get a Mac Mini. Don't run it on your own home computer. I was very leery, so I accepted that advice, and I didn't want to run it on my own computer because of all the initial security issues. But also, I'm very cheap by nature, so I was not going to spend the money on the Mac Mini. I wasn't going to spend the money on a purchase subscription either. When it came down to it for me, it was that once I had a subscription for a virtual computer, and in about a year's time I would have spent the same amount as buying this cheap refurbished mini desktop PC, which sent me back about $200 Canadian. I think that was a good entry level for what I was using it for. I think of it as an insurance policy to keep my own personal PC safe. So that's my backstory. If you're using OpenClaw on a virtual computer or on a Mac Mini, probably my advice may only hit 50% of the time. A lot of stuff is generic. I myself have got advice from people using Mac Minis. Really, once you get into OpenClaw installed, it doesn't matter what your native host machine is, these settings are the same. Just letting you know I'm using Windows 11 and that's where all my advice comes from. I will not give you advice on how to set up with a Mac or Linux or the other types of setups. So if you did that one-click install and it worked for you, you're one of the lucky ones. For me, I faced hurdle after hurdle after hurdle, so I want to talk about the prerequisites before you even do that one-click install. So if you have been tinkering in the AI space like I have, you probably come across things like GitHub, Hugging Face, Docker, or you've probably been using your terminal, PowerShell, and all these great things. The downside is that over the past couple years, I've been collecting these programs and loading them up on my laptop. Unfortunately, starting with a bare bones machine, you need a lot of these programs to support just the loading procedure of OpenClaw. One of the things I needed was NPM, so here's the truth. When you go to OpenClaw's official website, you'll see a one-click install, but it's not an one-click install. So we can get to the site easy enough. Claw.ai, scroll down a little bit, and you'll see Quick Start, and there's a one-liner, whether using Windows, or you can change it to macOS or Linux. If that actually works for you, great. However, one click is a little misleading because anyone can download a bunch of files to the computer, but that doesn't mean it's installed. So as I went along, what I found out is that all the things I may have already had on my daily driver laptop, this mini PC was bare bone, so I had to get all those supporting software again. My hurdle was execution policy. To get Windows to even accept the OpenClaw's one-click install routine, I had to go into PowerShell as administrator and execute the following line. Set-ExecutionPolicy, mono execution policy, remote-signed, scope CurrentUser. So easy peasy, right? Now I should be ready to go. Well, no, next hurdle was I had to get around the antivirus software that just comes baked in with Windows. Basically, I had to let Windows know that yes, I really do want to install this software, and basically force the antivirus not to block it. Before you even begin to install OpenClaw, what you need to know is the requirements, what pre-existing software your computer needs to have in order for OpenClaw to work on your computer. So let's take a step back and let's look at what you really need. So this is when things started getting over my head because I just kept hitting roadblock after roadblock. I had to do something to get this install. PS1 file to install, and basically through Reddit channels and help pages, I found that I had to unblock the file manually, basically told Windows, it's okay to run the script. So after doing that, off to the races, right? Well, no, then another hurdle was, again, we get into these supporting files needed to get OpenClaw to set up. So I needed to install Node.js, and I need to get or git or both of them. I needed it to open Node.js. After a few back and forth and hitting a few more roadblocks, I just kept installing package after package and basically getting my little mini PC to a state where it had all the supporting software that OpenClaw needed. This was about a month ago, so I don't exactly remember what solution finally worked, but I did take notes of everything I did try, so one of these things will eventually work for you if you're on a Windows 11 PC. So I think the last thing I did was use winget install, and that was to get my Node.js, and it was pretty good from there on. I got it installed, but just as a cautionary tale, save yourself some frustration. You should get all these supporting software on your virtual machine, laptop, PC, whatever, and have them ready before you attempt to install OpenClaw. It will save you a lot of headache. Now looking back at this list, I realize some of these things may be specific to me because of my setup. So just to add to the story, I also have a Google Gemini subscription account. So that's where the Google Cloud SDK came in, because I was under the delusion that because I already have subscription for Google, I can just hook up to the Google API, and that would get me the LLM I needed, or the model I needed to run OpenClaw for quote-unquote free. More on that later. But yeah, I have a Google subscription, and that helped me in other ways. If not to get OpenClaw running for free, it did help me along the way. I'll talk more on that later. You may or may not want to run a llama. That comes down to your preference of what large language model you want to use as your brain for OpenClaw. I did experiment with it, and I'll relay those details in another episode. Thanks so much for watching. If this video opened your eyes, you won't want to miss what I'm dropping next. Click one of the links on the screen right now to see more of the truth I've discovered, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next breakdown.